I'd love that kind of protection.
Oh, I will.
We see kind of various different abuses, and it's like, I know, speaking of the engineer, like I've never been in a union, but I also have the unique advantage of I don't owe anybody any money, and Dems is talking about that. Like, you want somebody to defend yourself, and that's why one of the things that I said right at the start of this is that I'm not sitting on my hands waiting for somebody to come in and save me. The thing that you realize is you actually have more power when you're not in debt. And that's one of the reasons why these companies love to know if you are in debt. That's one of the, when you go get hired, they'll run a credit check on you to see exactly where you fall. And then they can leverage that. So it's about
whether telling your boss you're financially independent is also telling them you could quit at any time.
I could quit at any time. Oh, like, I don't think
I need a raise because my mortgage is putting pressure on me.
Right. Exactly. And so one of the things is that outside of whether you guys ever want to be pro-union or anti-union, in right now, whether you want to wait or you want to collective bargain and all that, like, I'm more power to do whatever the hell you want. I tell you, change your life. Like, if you can get out of debt, you can now have the leverage and the power, because you don't have to do that. And what I have found personally, because we paid off all our debt, is that as soon as I did, all of a sudden my paychecks just went up. And it was like, you would wish that would happen naturally, but that's not the reality. I can wish for things to happen all the time, and ultimately there we are.
And I agree with that sentiment. I will say that I think there's something to be said, though, also about relying on everyone to be their own advocate is a bad recipe.
I agree.
Because not everybody has that skill set or the mentality. Like, not even like they haven't fostered a positive mentality. They're just people who struggle to do that.
Women
like,
in general,
one voice
we know
actor
historically.
Can't do it, SAG. Right. Like, SAG can do things that no one actor can do.
Right.
So like, it's not as simple as like, oh, well, so-and-so is just not going to, or this certain director is going to get boycotted. That doesn't have the same knock-on effect that SAG saying, this is what's happening.
It's systematic, and it can be,
And it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I wish it was better in the first place, but once it's not, that is one of the best remaining solutions.
Right. There's also that gender divide, to your point, Elio, because we've seen historically that women also don't advocate. They'll take less money. They will accept whatever, because they also feel like if they push back and they ask for more, then they're perceived as somebody who is not fun to work with, and we don't want them on our team and things like that. So there's those kind of added pressures. So you're 100% right. But my point being is that I'm not going to sit here and wait for somebody else. And not that you can't also go and try to figure out how to get that collective bargaining, or how to find somebody who can advocate for you, whether that's a recruiter or what have you, if you're uncomfortable with that. But don't sit back and be mad because the world doesn't work the way that you wish it did. Figure out a way to either, make it your own, jump in on it, and more. Totally. And I speak as a developer. I don't think if I ever given the option, I would join a union. I do like that level of independence. I do think there are some trade-offs with every choice, but within the creative side of game development, I've long been like, they need some level of protection.
They need some protection. Like, the reality, like, the thing is that it's at the point where not even like abuse, but just the churn. Like, I'm just going to frame this on a selfish level, right? On a game player, if you are someone who plays video games, what you want is a certain level of video game developers having institutional knowledge. You do not want people to be constantly churned out of the industry, and all the knowledge that is, and all the lessons that are learned from the creation of a game is gone.
Yeah. And I've ripped people out of the gaming industry to bring them into the just the business industry, because they were, and I did it for a dime. Like, it's like they are underpaid dramatically. So all of a sudden I can get somebody who's experienced as a developer at a really good price. And yes, we did give them raises, and yes, they did go from there. But for them, it felt like they got a massive raise, when in reality, it's like, that's just one step above entry level, for this job. And then all of a sudden they're like able to take that experience. And so I've siphoned off game developers because of that very fact. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So sorry, just to continue off that though, like the thing is that large and medium-sized and most game companies understand this.